Hello everyone. Are you using the Pythagorean theorem or the Pythagorean theorem correctly? Well, let's find out. So, the Pythagorean theorem is normally given by a squared plus b squared equals c squared. Now, what do a, b, and c stand for? Well, a and b are known as the short sides, and the short sides are always known as the legs. C is the longest side, and the longest side has a name, and we call that the hypotenuse. Now, there are a couple of rules that we need to follow before we can use the Pythagorean theorem. Some teachers call it the Pythagorean theorem. So first of all, when can we use this equation here? A squared plus b squared equals c squared. Step number one, you must make sure that it is a right triangle, meaning that it must have that little square box in the corner that tells us that there is a 90-degree angle. Number two, you're using this equation to look for the hypotenuse. And again, the hypotenuse is the longest side. So for hypotenuse, we always locate it by going diagonally across from the box, like this. So here is where the hypotenuse would be, and how we locate it. We can rearrange this equation into a minus equation, like this. So when can we use this one here, where it's a squared equal to c squared minus b squared? Well, step number one, you must make sure once again that it is a right triangle. And number two, that you're looking for a short side. So in this scenario, you see that we are using subtraction, where we have c squared minus b squared. So in this scenario, we're trying to look for the short sides. And again, as earlier, we mentioned that if we go across from the square, this is the hypotenuse, the longest side, which will always be C. So that means that A or B can be either one of the other remaining sides. Let's take a look at an example. For this one here, solve for x. Are we trying to look for the hypotenuse, or are we trying to look for a short side? Well, again, we can take a look at this box, draw a line across from it, and find out that x indeed is the hypotenuse. When we're looking for hypotenuse, we need to use the addition equation. So that's going to give us a squared plus b squared equal to, in this case, x squared. A has a value of 3, so we're going to go 3 squared plus 4 squared equaling to x squared. We can do the calculation here, 9 plus 16 equal to x squared, which then tells us that x squared is equal to 25. To solve for x, we then need to square root both sides, and we get the answer that x would be equal to 5. Now the answer here is 3, 4, and 5. So this is a special version for the Pythagorean theorem. So 3, 4, 5 patterns, we can see that we can use this over and over again, and you can check for yourself that if we had 3, 4, 5, any multiple of this would also work in the future. For example, we can also have 6, 8, and 10, or we can have, for example, 9, 12, and 15, so on and so forth. So as long as it follows this ratio of 3, 4, 5, this is a quick way to figure out the lengths. Number 2. For this one here, once again, we can draw an arrow across from the square. So this one is the hypotenuse, which is the longest side. And therefore we are looking for x, and that is a short side. So when we're doing the short side calculations, we need to use subtraction. In this case, a squared equal to c squared minus b squared. So for this one, we can call x to be a. So we'll call on x squared. C is again 20, so that'll be 20 squared. And b will make it 14. So we do the calculation, that'll be 400 minus 196. So then x squared would equal to, let's use a calculator, 204. And when we solve for x, we need to square root both sides. So our final answer will give us x equaling 14.28285686. And normally this would keep on going, unless the question told you to round somewhere, like to the nearest tenth, nearest hundredth, so on and so forth. Preferably though, if there is no rounding required, keep your answers based off of whatever your calculator shows for more accuracy. Alright, so that pretty much does it for today's lesson. I hope you enjoyed the video. Make sure to leave a comment below to let me know what you thought about it. Make sure to like the video, share the video with your family and friends, and subscribe to the channel for more content. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.